Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Kell Brook hating on Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We are working. Shout out to Fight Hype, link in the description. I just watched the interview they had with Kell Brook, and I gotta give my honest thoughts. He was hating on Errol Spence Jr., a guy who beat him in his last fight. And let me start. I'm just gonna paraphrase. I don't feel like quoting verbatim. He basically said that they asked him about this weekend's fight, obviously the biggest fight of the beginning of a new year, 2018. They said Spence versus Peterson. He has your old title. What do you think about that fight? He says Peterson's basically durable. He's tough. In training camp, he seems hungry, right? And he thinks that Errol Spence Jr. will beat Lamont Peterson convincingly on points, right? So he's picking Spence to beat him. Now, I'm gonna just stop right there and say this. I've said this time and time again, and I firmly believe it. Some of these fighters need PR people, and I'm sure they have PR people, but they need to have them on deck at all times, because what what Kell Brook is saying doesn't even really make sense. So he goes on with the interview and he says they've been praising about this kid, Errol Spence Jr., saying how great he is and basically and all this stuff, but nothing. He says not to take anything away from him, but he's not that great to me. Something very close to that. He's not that great of a fighter to me. Now, this is where it's very confusing. One, if Errol Spence Jr. is not that great to you, then why are you picking him to convincingly beat Lamont Peterson on points? And you sound like you respect Lamont Peterson. You look at him as a valiant and stern fighter overall. You know what I mean? Well put together fighter. So that doesn't even make sense. He's not that great, but you think he's convincingly going to beat Peterson. Second of all, and this is probably more so why I think these fighters need PR people, because the level of bitterness it shows when there's a past opponent and they took a fade, they took a L. It's like they don't want to come to grips with it. I don't know if boxers need therapists or psychologists or whatever to help them through certain losses, but certain guys seem to take certain losses very hard. Now, if you remember the Kell Brook, see, and this is the other thing, I'm not perfect, but I know my boxing, and since I cover boxing, I remember these news clippings and bullet points and highlights. Before the Errol Spence Jr. fight, Kell Brook was saying the same thing, like, oh, he's not that special to me, he's the next Jeff Lacy, right? And he was saying it's hard for me to get up for a guy like Errol Spence Jr. Nobody in America is really knowing him, and he's just getting all this praise, but I think he's Jeff Lacy. Okay, fine. That's how you feel. But then you still have to fight him because he's your mandatory. And then he beats you. It's a tough fight. It's a competitive fight. But he beats you in your backyard, makes you take a knee like Colin Kaepernick, and beats you into submission to the point where you have to basically no mas. And then now fast forward to the future, you're saying he's not that great. You know what I mean? Just none of it adds up to me. It's not that great, yet you're favoring him to beat Lamont Peterson, right? A guy who you said was training hard. He's not that great, yet he beat you and punished you by the fight's end. And some people are going to say, oh, but Errol Spence was losing some of the early rounds, but that doesn't really matter. Danny Garcia was losing early rounds to Amir Khan, but he got the job done. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Errol Spence was getting dogged by Kell Brook and he needed a knockout to win. Like the momentum started to shift, and he was on like a 9-month layoff. And the other thing is, for me, it seems like if I was the fighter and I lost to him, I think I would feel more content being like, damn, this dude is dope. He's a good fighter. Why would you want to say someone's not that great and now it makes it look like you lost to somebody who was kind of trash. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird. Some people have a hard time giving Errol Spence Jr. props, or former guys that have conquered them, pause, you know what I mean, giving them props. It just seems weird to me. It seems like you would be giving them all the praise in the world. Like, I mean, obviously Floyd Mayweather hasn't lost, but the guys he stepped in the ring, you could tell he's a little bit partial for. Like when he's talking to Canelo Golovkin, he talks about, oh yeah, Canelo this, that, and the third, because he's fought Canelo. You know what I mean? When it's Robert Guerrero or Danny Garcia, he kind of seemed like the guy he shared the ring with, Robert Guerrero, he had more faith in him because he shared the ring with him. So it seems like it would be more of a mutual respect when somebody punishes you and or beats you and stuff and gives you a tough fight, a good fight. But it doesn't work like that. And see, this is the thing. Now Kell Brook has left the division and he's fighting a guy no one's ever heard of, Rabchenko. So if Errol Spence Jr. is not that great, why didn't you push for an immediate rematch? You know what I mean? Because in my opinion, you knew the implications if you were to lose and fight him again. You know what I mean? Fight him with less of a layoff and stuff like that. So I don't fault him for going to 154, but at the end of the day, it's just, we don't believe you need more people. To me, it's not making sense. And I just wish these fighters would give guys, whether they beat them or not, just give them the proper credit. But it doesn't make sense to make it sound as if Errol Spence Jr. is not that dude, but then he beat you into submission. You know what I mean? So it'd be one thing if it was like George Groves versus Carl Froch, the first fight, where George Groves was actually probably winning the fight, and then the ref kind of fucked it up and prematurely stopped it. That's not what happened. The whole momentum had started to shift, and Kell Brook started getting broken down more and more as the fight wore on. You know what I mean? And he was losing the battle of attrition, and then he eventually was stopped late. You know what I mean? So it just sounds like, I don't know, sour grapes to me from Kell Brook, and I think he just has to get over that aspect. And I've seen this with other fighters too. You know what I mean? It's just it's a shame. Like, they don't want to give him credit. You know what I mean? Even Bermane Stiverne, he lost to Deontay Wilder, and then after he lost to Deontay Wilder in the second fight via violent stoppage, I heard Bermane Stiverne was saying something like he got hit in the back of the head or something. But you got hit with the 1-2 up front. So it's like, what is this stuff coming from? But I guess that's just the fighter mentality, or the mentality of some. Let me know what you guys think. I think Kell Brook should just really worry about his next fight and the future of his career and see. But to me, another thing why I make videos like this is because it's very concerning when fighters start saying stuff like this, because this makes me feel like their confidence and their whole psyche might be a bit rattled and shook, because what you're saying is not even making sense to me. You know what I mean? So I'm anxious to see how Kell Brook bounces back and if he's going to be the same fighter. Let me know your thoughts. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.